Our movie kicks off with a voice recording from Richard Croft, where he mentions he made this tape back in 2009 while he was still on his journey searching for Himiko. According to the legends, Himiko was the first queen to ever rule Japan, but she wasn't some ordinary queen. She was a super powerful sorceress who used black magic during her reign to control literally everything. Anyone who didn't like her or disobeyed her orders could be destroyed and killed with just one single touch of her hand. So her rule naturally spread ruin and destruction everywhere. But when Himiko finally died, her soldiers took her and buried her deep under a mountain on a remote island. And that island is located right in the middle of the Devil's Sea. Richard finishes the recording by saying he found an ancient map and managed to figure out the location of Himiko's tomb from it. So he decided to go there and discover it before anyone else could find the spot. But he has a gut feeling that this will be his very last trip, and that he won't ever see his daughter Lara again. After many long years pass, we find his daughter Lara in a martial arts gym practicing boxing. And that's because she enters tournaments just for the cash. But as usual, she loses and can't pay up. The gym manager starts yelling at her because she has a ton of overdue debts she hasn't paid. And he tells her to go find a real job that actually makes money because next time, he won't let her fight if she doesn't pay. So she goes off to deliver orders to customers, and later she spots two guys talking about a new contest they're putting on where the winner gets a huge stack of cash. Of course, as soon as Lara hears the word money, she asks them to join the contest. So they agree and tell her the rules. Basically, she just has to outrun everyone. On the day of the race, Lara actually manages to beat them at first, but out of nowhere, a police car slams into her, and naturally Lara ends up cooling her heels in jail until someone comes to bail her out. The person who comes to get her out of prison is Anna, her father Richard's assistant, and it's pretty clear that her relationship with Lara isn't great at all. Anna is surprised by what Lara did and asks her why she got involved in such nonsense. And Lara tells her she did it because she just needs money to survive. But the surprise is that Anna tells her she doesn't actually need money or anything because she knows Lara has a massive fortune, but she's the one refusing to come and take it. She asks her to come sign the papers to claim her family's estate and her father's huge wealth to continue the family history, which has been stuck for 7 years because she won't come sign. The problem is that if Lara signs, it means her father is officially dead and not just missing. When Lara goes there, she remembers her father before he traveled, telling her he'd be back soon and giving her her mother's ancient lucky charm to wear around her neck. So Lara is forced to accept the situation and goes to the company the next day to settle things with the lawyer. Before she signs the death certificate, she finds the lawyer giving her a puzzle toy to solve, just like the toys her father used to make for her to keep her sharp. The lawyer tells her that her father asked him to hand it to her after his death, but the surprise is that when Lara manages to solve the puzzle in her hands, it pops open. Inside, there's a photo of her and her father together, and she also finds a strange message in her father's handwriting that gives the first letter of the last place he was going. Immediately, Lara leaves the office and heads to their mansion, going straight to the mausoleum area. There, she finds the tomb her father had built for himself. And the surprise is she finds the first letter carved on the tomb looking very strange. When she presses on it, an underground gate opens up, so Lara goes inside. To her amazement, she finds tons of treasures and artifacts from all different countries and civilizations. She's totally shocked because she discovers her father was an antiquities investigator, not just a businessman managing trade companies. She also finds many passports for her father with different names and personas. She sees a camera and plays the film inside, which turns out to be a message from her father. He tells her that since she reached this place and is seeing the tape, he must be dead. He says she now knows the secret, that he doesn't work in trading companies, and he apologizes for hiding the secret from her because he didn't want to put her in danger. In the end, he asks her to burn all the files and records related to Himiko and warns her that if any of this paperwork falls into anyone's hands, the whole world will be destroyed. But it turns out she's the curious type, so when she found the box containing the files and records of Himiko, she decided to open it and see everything inside. She started watching the recordings, listening to them, and checking out the files and maps. In the recordings, her dad talks about Himiko and says they called her the Mother of Death because no one ever mentions her name or gets near her without getting hit by her curse. Just one touch from her is enough to wreck the whole world, which is why the guards decided they had to bury her alive in a very remote tomb on an island that was wiped off the map so no one could reach her. He was the one who managed to identify this island and called it the Lost Yamatai. He says in his recording that he found a captain named Lu Ren who agreed to take him to the island in the Devil's Sea. So Lara went to an antique shop and sold her lucky charm to get the cash for the trip. And the next day she started her journey and went to the harbor to look for Lu Ren's ship. Unfortunately, while she's asking around, a few punks steal her bag and run off, so she chases them at top speed. She manages to catch them and get her bag back, but they threaten her with a weapon, so she runs away. Luckily, Lu Ren's ship pulls in, and she calls out to him for help. So he comes out with his weapon and chases the punks off the boat. But she goes back to him and tells him that her father, Richard, paid for a trip in advance. But her father never used that trip, so she wants him to take her there. But the surprise is he tells her that his father went on that trip with her father and has been missing ever since. So Lara asks him to take her to Yamatai Island to look for her father and tells him that his father is definitely there with them because they both disappeared at the same time. He tells her that this island is in the Devil's Sea and whoever goes there doesn't come back. But it turns out when she pulls out a lot of money, he gets convinced to take her to the island. They actually started the journey there, and on the way she kept reading the research and listening to the records. She hears him saying that anyone who gets close to Himiko's tomb must face great dangers. But much more dangerous than that, Richard says there are other organizations that found out about Himiko and are looking for the tomb. Most importantly, the Trinity organization, which wants to control Himiko's power to use it to control and harm humanity. After that, their ship got close to the required island until a very powerful storm hit, slamming the ship into a rock so it broke apart. That's why Lu Ren asked her to take the papers and get herself ready because the ship is sinking and it seems like Himiko's wrath started early. They actually take everything and jump into the water to swim to the shore, but unfortunately they get separated from each other and neither of them knows where the other went. Lara manages to reach the shore, but the problem is she finds strange people coming toward her and suddenly someone hits her on the head until she passes out. When she wakes up, she finds herself in a tent with a strange man in front of her. He says his name is Vogel and he has 2 daughters and a very happy family that he loves, but he can't go back to his family until he finishes his mission on this island. Of course, Lara is surprised by his words, but even weirder is that she found he took her bag and opened it, knowing everything inside. The even bigger problem is that he turns out to know Richard and tells Lara that her father made them work very hard and refused to tell them the location of the tomb. But she served them well because he found the map and her father's journals in her bag. Lara gets very angry because she feels that Vogel works with the Trinity organization that wants to control Himiko's power. When she asks him about her father, he tells her that he killed him because he refused to cooperate with them. At that moment, Lara gets very upset and leaves the tent to walk around. But the surprise is that she finds many workers operating and blasting the mountain, breaking it down, all to search for the tomb. A guard tells her to go down and work with the workers. And the weird part is she finds that Lu Ren is also imprisoned with them and working. Since Vogel took the map, he took all the workers to a new spot. On the way, Lara manages to talk to Lu Ren, who tells her that they killed his father and that they kidnapped sailors and fishermen and anyone on the island to make them work on these rocks for their own benefit. At that time, they finally reached the tomb according to the map, and the workers started to labor. But Lu Ren decides to make a move and tells Lara to run while he hits the guards to distract them from her. She actually manages to escape them at top speed to hide in the mountain, then jumps into the sea, and the waterfall sweeps her to a place where she can enter the forest. She hides there, but unfortunately she had taken a few injuries and can't move much. So she spends the night among the trees to see what she'll do. But suddenly, while she's sitting in the dark alone, one of Vogel's men attacks her to bring her back to the camp and drags her forcefully to take her with him. But she manages to hit him and overcome him, and she kills him. Strangely, Lara sees a person standing among the trees watching her, and as soon as she looks to see who it is, she finds him running fast and escaping from her. But she runs after him and finds him going up a mountain to enter his cave. She actually follows him and finds a very massive surprise. This person is her father himself, but he's aged quite a bit and is looking pretty rough. When he saw her, he thought he was going crazy and seeing a ghost in front of him, so he acted like he didn't see her and tried to run away. But Lara kept reminding him who she was and did the special moves they always used to do together. So he made sure she was his daughter and ran to her and hugged her. After that, he treated the wounds and injuries she had. The next morning, Vogel has broken the outer rocks and finally found the tomb. So he informs his superiors to send him transport because he's finally found the tomb and is going to open it and get them what they want. At that time, Lara is on the mountain talking to her father and blaming him because he left her and was gone for 7 years and couldn't come back. He tells her he did that to prevent a very great danger because Vogel works for the Trinity organization and they sent him here to find Himiko's tomb, but no one knows the location except him. So he escaped so no one could catch him and get anything out of him. He also assumes she burned his maps and files, not knowing the looming disaster, that Vogel has the papers, documents, and the maps of the tomb and has probably entered it already. When he finds out Lara didn't burn those things as he asked, he keeps yelling at her, but she tries to calm him down and tells him she did all this just to search for him and find him. She actually took her bow and arrows and went back to Vogel's camp again. When she arrived, she tried to hide in a room and then went to the workers to free them, hitting the guards around them. With Luren's help, she managed to help all the workers escape. At that time, she finds her father, who was following her, has reached Himiko's tomb, but unfortunately Vogel is standing behind him, wanting to know how to open it. As usual, he refuses to open the tomb, even if Vogel kills him. Vogel asks him to help him open it so he can go back to his family, but Richard tells him if the tomb is opened, neither he nor his family will exist at all. Their conversation is cut short by the arrival of Lara, who was holding her arrow and aiming it at Vogel. When he was about to kill her father, she's forced to listen to him and drop her weapon and open the tomb. When she opens it, they find a very deep pit, so Vogel and a few of his men enter, and he also takes Richard and his daughter with them. They go inside to look for Himiko's tomb, and it turns out the tomb has a lot of traps and puzzles. Suddenly, an arrow shoots out from the ceiling and goes into the heart of one of the guards, who dies immediately, but Vogel doesn't care and keeps going to find the tomb. When they enter another room, the gates close on them and trap them inside, and at the same time the floor starts to break from under them. At that moment, Lara figures out from the carvings on the wall that this room has a riddle, and she must solve it so they can get out. She actually tries once and twice to find the solution, and finally manages to reach the correct answer and open the gates again. After that, they go to continue searching for Himiko. At that time, the workers Lara saved are still waiting for her outside the tomb, and Luren decides he has to help her. As for her and those with her, they finally manage to reach the sarcophagus and open it while they're in a state of total terror. When they removed the lid of the coffin, they found Queen Himiko in her distinctive Japanese attire. Suddenly, her eyes turned black and her beautiful features started to break down. She became just a mummy made of bones and very scary remains. But still, Vogel ordered his men to pick up the body and carry it in a sack. At that moment, Lara started reading the inscriptions on the tomb walls and realized that Himiko sacrificed herself to save the people. She was the one who buried herself while she was alive to protect people from the magic that was on her. Lara asked the guards not to touch the body, but no one listened to her, and the guards started grabbing the body to move it. To everyone's surprise, the body moved in a very scary way, and everyone was terrified. Vogel told them it was because of gears installed in the tomb, but it turns out the legends started to come true because we find one of the guards caught the black magic, which started spreading through his whole body until it completely finished him off. When he tried to get close to Vogel, Vogel killed him so he wouldn't infect him because they know it's a very strong infection that transmits by touch. So Vogel decided to cut off one of the mummy's fingers and take it with him. Lara and her father take advantage of him being busy and grab weapons. Lara manages to escape, but her father hides behind the coffin to prevent Vogel from leaving with the finger he took because it could destroy the world. But unfortunately, the guard who got the infection rises again and attacks Richard. While Richard is trying to fight him off, the infection passes to him. He manages to kill the guard with a touch, but ties off his arm where he was infected before the disease spreads through his body. But he doesn't have time to finish the mission. At that time, Lara is trying to escape from the guard chasing her so she can go back and save her father, and she actually manages to kill him. But unfortunately, when she goes back, she finds her father is infected. He asks her to stay away from him and go catch Vogel before he leaves with the disaster he has. He also says goodbye to her as he carries out his final mission, placing explosives around Himiko's coffin to blow it up and blow himself up with it. Lara is heartbroken, but she decides to carry out her father's wish and goes to catch Vogel to stop him. She keeps hitting him, and he hits her until she manages to put the mummy's finger in his mouth and pushes him into the tomb pit, so he dies suffering from the black magic. But at the same time, her father blows up the whole place himself, and the tomb starts collapsing. Lara runs fast to be able to get out of the tomb and finds Lu Ren standing outside helping her out. Luckily for them, the transport Vogel requested has arrived at their location, so they all get in, including the workers. The plane takes them back to their country. After that, Lara goes to her company to finish signing the papers and signs her father's death certificate. At that moment, the lawyer hands Lara a list of all the companies that work for their company, and among them is the name of the company Lara saw at Vogel's camp. She looks at Anna with suspicious eyes and runs fast to the secret hideout in the mansion to understand the situation. The surprise is that she discovers Anna herself works for the Trinity organization, and she's the one who was leaking all of Richard's secrets and was communicating with Vogel the whole time. So Lara goes back again to the antique shop to get back her mother's lucky charm, and at the same time she buys a new weapon to avenge her father's death from the traitors. I hope you liked the summary, and don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel if it's your first time seeing us so you get everything new. I'll see you in the next movie.